exact opposite. That makes it so much worse.
Nerd On.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
Josh just wanted the opportunity to finally interrupt someone else.
Josh,
Instead of him being interrupted.
Now you see why I interrupt you all the time, okay?
Josh, you scared me with that.
Oh, did
a
I?
little bit.
Does
yeah.
he, or is it just vengeance?
No, I do it because I want to join in. He does it because he's like, I want to do it. I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking.
Anyways, as we approach the spookiest holiday of the year,
Spoopy
Christmas.
holiday.
Halloween. We are going to be talking today about our favorite scary video games.
Can I have like an asterisk, a little like annotation amendment?
Wait, way to talk over our theme song for the episode.
How
Tom.
dare
That wasn't
you.
the theme song.
That was.
We have our theme
100%.
song in the beginning
Let's do
before
it
we even
again.
start talking.
Okay, now you go.
You
There
hear
you
that?
go.
No one applauded. Anyway, so scary
one clap.
favorite scary video games could also be just the scariest video games we ever played too. So it's kind of like
Sure.
might have not been the most enjoyable.
Turtles in time.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Not the most enjoyable time, but also just like, oh shit, this is super scary and something that's memorable to us.
Yeah.
But
But
first,
before we get into it, my name is Ali.
I'm Tom.
I'm Corey,
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Josh.
and we got a little business to get out of the way.
That Josh should cover probably, since he seems to like doing it.
I'm just never going to live it down.
No?
This episode is brought to you in part
keep
by our
lobbing 'em
patrons
right
over
at
at Patreon.
Patreon.
Thank you for being a part of the show. We can't do
Thank you.
everything that we do without you. If you'd like to join, check out nerdon.tv for more information about that. We enjoy all of the support and tips.
Yeah, under the support tab it says Patreon.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thanks to our patrons for joining us on this adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And
Shall
all
we
of
get
you
into it?
non-patron
Yeah.
listeners.
And also, I guess a little bit of a heads up, spoilers, because we might talk about some plot
Spoopy.
threads in
Yeah.
the games that you might have
Spoopy
not
video
played yet.
games.
I just realized we started putting that spoiler announcement in front of every episode.
episode.
Because the thing is, I've literally gotten someone's like, I don't want to watch you stream a game because I don't want to get spoiled by the ending. I'm like, oh, well, I guess.
Too bad.
Well, I guess.
We talk about pretty much anything and everything, and especially
Yeah.
for this, if it's a scary game, it might get brought up. So if you don't want to hear spoilery things, you are warned.
Yes.
But first, I guess it goes into our first topic, which is the first scary video game that we came across.
It's not our favorite one, just what got us.
Just the first scary game you've ever played.
Yeah.
Or something you thought was scary. Or a scary moment you
Okay,
had.
I know what mine is.
Okay, what is it?
Right off the bat. It is in Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part where you're underwater and there's a giant fucking eel.
Mm-hmm.
And
What?
if you Google it now, it doesn't look scary at all.
No. But when you're a kid,
But when you're a kid, underwater levels just used to scare me.
and also, this was when Super Mario was fucking cutting edge graphics.
Yeah. This was like, oh, they have an X and Y and like, you can look around. What's happening?
Whoa.
So I just remember being any underwater level for like the first 10 years of playing video games terrified me because I was
Yeah.
like, what could happen? Something could just jump out and eat me. I don't know.
This should also be noted that when you're in the underwater levels of Super Mario, it's quite tranquil. Like
Yeah.
the music is quite nice.
It
And all of a
is.
sudden, but then when you start like losing oxygen, then it's like, oh shit.
You don't lose oxygen.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, you have to gather coins and stuff, and there's
Yeah.
air bubbles you got to gather. Yeah,
Oh,
you lose
sure.
oxygen in Mario 64, but that eel forever.
I remember.
I'm thinking of like Mario Land 1.
Well, I'm not talking about Mario Land 1. Thanks for listening.
I guess I'm gonna bounce off that. My first, I think, scary moment that I felt like I had with the video game, it wasn't even scary, but it was Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
And it was the
Yes.
introduction of Sweet Tooth.
Oh,
Okay.
man,
And
yeah.
he
Wow.
scared the shit out of me when I was a
He was
kid.
freaky.
But then after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm cool. He's dope. Now he's like one of my favorite characters because like
Isn't he
he's
like an undead clown?
he's just a murderer. He's
Oh,
a
okay.
murderer.
Yeah, he's a murderer. clown.
He would do the we all scream for ice cream and
Because that's better.
His head's on fire.
He
That's all I remember.
drove an ice cream truck, didn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
would lure kids and murder them.
Right. Yeah,
nice,
that's
nice. That's
absolutely
what we
horrifying.
played
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I was like, oh my god.
I was all
it's
about that game
creepy.
though. 100%.
Yeah, I love Twisted Metal. So good.
Yeah.
Ali.
For me, I think my first was I want to say it was like Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
I think I rented it from like Blockbuster or something.
Not Hollywood Video?
Not Hollywood Video. I was a Blockbuster kid. I'm sorry.
What have you done?
Hey,
My heart.
I was at my parents' mercy. But it was I didn't even finish it the time that I had played it, like the first time I played it. But it was fun. It was like zombies and stuff. And
Was there a certain part that scared you, or?
Just the
not
concept.
that I can remember. It was just
I mean, it's your first day on the Force, Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Who do you
Leon-
play? You play as Leon.
Leon, my favorite in the whole series is Leon. And it's his first day, and he just handles
The
shit.
first Resident Evil game I
You
ever
could
played was the first one.
actually you could play as either one. You could play as
They're technically if you played as
Claire.
like, the girl, it's technically the hard mode.
Oh, really?
That's
was
what,
just a
that's
different
what
disc.
they called it on like the meta of like Resident Evil 1 and 2. It's like if you play as
Oh,
Chris,
yeah,
it's easy because
yeah.
you have a submachine
Chris.
gun.
Well,
But then in the
That's
second one,
one.
I don't know if it follows the same suit.
in one, I thought Chris was the hard mode because you only had 6 slots for items.
Oh.
You had 6 slots and a giant knife, and then for Jill, you had 8 slots, but a knife took a slot.
Yeah, and I don't know if that plays intel with the second one at all, where like
Right.
that different character means different difficulty.
Yeah.
Which is
Mhm.
how games were created back in the day.
Yeah, that was. But yeah, I mean, that kind of started a huge love story, I guess, of mine for Resident Evil franchise.
Nice.
Like I love every single one of them, except I haven't played 7.
Oh yeah. Not yet.
Oh,
Not
it's-
yet,
it's-
baby.
oh, man.
It's not even that. It's like it just feels like it's too far of a departure for me from what I loved.
Well, I mean, every 3 they're different.
Yeah, so I'm hoping maybe I'll catch 10 or whatever.
Because first it's like the virus and it's like a genetic thing. And
Yeah.
then the second one, and then after that, it's like the disease or virus has become like a monster. It's
Yeah.
a parasitic thing. And then the 7th one's like, well, now it's kind of spiritual
Mhm.
stuff. I don't know. I don't even know the end of the game. So
Yeah.
I
I'm down
got
to
5
play.
minutes into that game and I was like, nah, bro.
Do you
I'm
have
good.
it?
I do.
Oh shit. Let me use it. Let me play.
I actually loved 5. Resident Evil 5 was one of my.
That's with Chris, right? And they're in Africa.
Yeah, but I played as Shiva.
Oh, okay.
I
Who
can't.
was the girl?
I can't
I got that bow and
play
arrow.
those
If
at
you
all.
have a bow and arrow in a game, I'm
Yeah.
gonna play it.
My
I'm just
actual
saying.
favorite one is actually Resident Evil 1, the remake on GameCube.
Ah.
Because it had at the time it had like incredible graphics,
Mm.
and I just loved the difficulty of like you had so few like ammo, and you had like a limited number
It
of
was
saves.
a survival horror game.
It was super survival horror, and it was like you in a mansion, and like it was just you and one zombie in a hallway, but you just didn't have enough ammo to deal with it, and he showed you like go around them, and it's very different from like Resident Evil 5, where it's like just hordes, and
Running
stuff like
gun.
that. So,
Also for the East Coast people, horror games.
Horror.
Har.
Josh, first
Um,
encounter.
First encounter. I do remember the Twisted Metal bit.
Right? Wasn't
But
that a little scary?
yeah, I mean, seriously.
And
Sweet
then
Tooth?
Calypso would do fucked up things to you, and it's
Yeah.
like always like be careful what you wish for.
I think I played the second one and then like Twisted Metal Black.
Yeah, that was like the best.
That stood out to me.
I remember clearly the Silent Hill series.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I
I
never played 'em.
remember popping
no,
that in.
No.
I believe I borrowed it from a friend or something like that, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Of course, I was younger, so I probably didn't use the F word.
I think I
But
may be one of 6 people who like the movie.
You're probably
Yeah.
like, no, I liked it.
I
Did
liked
you?
it.
Yeah, so
Okay,
you're
cool.
two of 6. But
I
also,
loved it.
and Josh probably likes it.
Is Resident Evil
Yeah.
and Silent Hill
Nope.
like Coke and Pepsi?
Oh, you kind of. I was like,
Oh wow, good question.
Because I never played
It's like
Silent Hill.
Coke and
they're
Dr.
different
Pepper.
because
Coke and
they're purely very different games. Because like in Resident Evil, you have a chance, you can shoot things. In Silent Hill, it takes you like half the game to get like a knife.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because the
Oh.
thing is,
It's
like,
more of like an investigative game.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I would like it actually.
With crazy shit
Yeah.
happening
I never played a
all
single
around
one.
you.
Coke and Dr. Pepper. That's what I'm saying.
Coke and Dr.
But I
Pepper?
mean, also for everyone that's not like super fan of like getting scared out of your ass, like out your ass about all that shit. Like Resident Evil, do you know about that with Devil May Cry?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So like,
that's one of my favorite stories.
yeah. So
I don't know
For
the
those who
story.
don't know, Devil May Cry originally started as a Resident Evil game. Like they were making a Resident Evil game,
Oh.
and they
more
decided
character focus.
more character focus. That's why, like, if you would think about it, like the first Devil May Cry, you can go and like inspect things, and there's still items and like puzzles to an extent. But then I don't know. At one point, they decided to just make it
Because it was
like
such
an
a
action
far cry.
game.
Because they were like, oh, let's use a sword. Let's make it fighting with combos and all that stuff.
Yeah, so they just changed it completely.
Good combo.
Kaylin, how about you?
Oh boy. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am very
You scare easily?
easy to scare.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that every Wednesday on the stream.
Yeah, I know. Every time you
What?
guys, oh god. Okay, so I'm really easy to scare.
That was genuine. That was great.
Don't smile at me.
I didn't think that was gonna work.
I'm like super tense because I know we're talking about scary stuff, and so I'm like hyper aware of it. And stop, don't. Ugh. Okay, so I don't actually remember the first quotes scary game I played. I remember probably. I mean, I'm not that bad, but I will get very terrified quickly. I remember playing an arcade game, Carnival.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's the first one that I remember that I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this scary ass game and get the shit scared out of me for
Smash
no
cut.
reason. Yeah. You're not wrong. That's precisely how that went. Yeah.
What kind of game is it?
It was it was like a scary carnival where there are things trying to kill you all the time.
So it's like
So a
survival.
carnival.
Yeah, something like that.
Carnival.
I don't
heard of
actually
it.
remember. I just remember that it was
Carnival.
like clowns were scary and things were creepy and they tried to touch you and you're like, no, don't.
Oh.
And that's the game.
No, don't.
No, don't. And then I
Fair
died
enough.
and it was really scary.
And you play this
Some games
on
are that.
console or an arcade? I'm
It
sorry?
was it was a cabinet. So
Okay,
it was at there was a movie theater that had it because my parents were super like, no violence, gory, scary things. Like the first scary movie I ever saw was The Ring. And that's when I was like 13 or 14. I had never
Was
seen
it
a
the
scary
Japanese
movie
or
before that.
the American?
I don't even remember.
Was there white
I
people
just,
in there or was there Asian people?
I think it was Asian people.
So
I
that is-
honestly don't remember.
Ringu.
No. Okay, there were white people in it.
That's like how it's pronounced, I think.
Just wasn't ready for it.
It's like how it's pronounced, probably.
But yeah.
I think probably not.
So yeah, Carnival is the first one I remember. But to be fair, I've been scared by a lot of things in a lot of video games over a long period of time. So
Even our notifications on Twitch.
even our like
Which
Even
is just
when
like,
I was
"Bring."
just telling Tom and Corey in the car, I got so scared playing Minecraft once
Oh,
because a skeleton jumped out of
Yeah.
a hole that I like jettisoned away from my desk and knocked over a glass of water. Like it's
Fair.
not great. I get scared quick.
Wow.
10 people drowned that day in that glass of water. That's the thing you don't know about it.
They did. It was horrific.
But yeah, so like the horror genre in video games has been really interesting because it obviously stems from horror movies, right? And there was this study. I'll try to post a link to it somewhere on our Facebook that I was reading about, and they mentioned it in a video
Did you
essay.
do yours?
Yeah, it was Mario.
Mario,
Oh,
the eel, big
Sorry,
eel.
the big eel.
But like there was a study that showed that like your
Unagi.
brain can't differentiate between what's real life and what's a movie. You can on a conscious level, but your base fears, your subconscious can't.
Instinctual.
And that's why things like scary movies and stuff like that are so
Actually affect you.
visceral. So especially, I think that's how you think of a movie. Like imagine if you're also controlling the thing
it.
in the game,
That-
and
Yeah,
like
interacting.
Oh,
Like a
so-
First
yeah.
person,
so
like
your
you're
brain,
like,
it's really hijacking your brain in this sense to be
Yep.
like you're there, you're experiencing these things.
Well, because like you become one to one.
Yeah.
You move, it moves, and then all of a sudden you get attacked. You feel it.
Well,
You're
your
like,
brain
oh,
is
God.
also sending those signals, right?
Yeah.
It's sending those electric pulses to make you move left and right, and suddenly
And
you're in it.
it just feels even better when the controller starts vibrating.
I was
Like,
gonna
oh.
say, yeah. Then you got that DualShock life, and it's like,
Or you're wearing headphones and then they have like a surround
Oh.
sound, so it's like
Sound.
left, right. It's like, oh, it's right behind me.
I did one of my favorite experiences is Tom and I used to do a gaming channel called 30 Rack Gaming, and a friend of ours, RJ,
Shout out to RJ.
who is like on your level with like scary video games, doesn't
Oh,
like
yeah,
doing
that's-
them, doesn't like experiencing them, whatever.
Except
I feel you. I
though-
feel you, man.
Except he'd be like, man, fuck this game.
You
though."
fuck this game. I made him play Outlast with surround sound
No.
headphones
No,
on.
you're a mean bad
And,
friend.
I think you could still find some of it online. It's pretty great, but
It's really fun.
it's fun for me to watch that stuff.
Well, to me, I like the thing I love about the video game industry is that they try to find every medium and get you to respond in ways with creative, tools at their belt. And with video games, whether it's like, creating the color or the atmosphere, or if it's the text crawl, or if it's sound, it's all of it combined. It's kind of like all these different things are operating upon you, and you have to be really cognizant that like they design this so that you have this experience that you can't get away from.
well, it's. I mean, I think it's also getting more intense because now you have VR,
Mm-hmm.
and you have. I mean, of course, we mentioned the DualShock. That was like one of those first things that you got like there's some sort of sensory thing happening when something is happening. It's not just what's visual. And now you've got VR stuff.
We are 5 years away from Ready Player One suits that you feel things.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I think we're 5 years out.
they introduced those
Technically
things.
exist.
Yeah. But I think we're 5 years out from like consumer
wise.
level.
I'm ready for some sensation on my body, like in
Oh my
Ready Player
God.
One.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
We all saw that sequence. Parzival got touched upon.
What was that? They
Touched upon.
announced something this year at E3. Wasn't it like a band or a neck thing that you wore that would like
Oh, like a
take your
vest or something.
vitals
Yeah.
like while you're
Playing
like an
horror
armband
games
and
and
things like
Oh,
that.
there's a ton of those things. And like the Omni where you can like be in a harness and run
Yeah.
in real time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what if you have bad cardio?
Well, then you don't get very
That
far.
means you die.
Yeah,
in
that
the
means you
game
die a
every
lot
time.
quick.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to get us started. I want to dive right into this because I'm sure we're all gonna have a lot to say about
Oh, so many words.
our favorite scary video
I mean,
games.
I do want to talk a little bit about it because I mean, the cool thing about scary video games is like there's different ways you can do it. Like some of the games that we have on our list aren't necessarily scary games on the offset. Some of them become scary games without you realizing, oh shit, things just became scary. Or
Yeah.
like they're scary. You're like in a scary environment, but then you're shooting zombies.
Yeah.
So it's not really scary, but things can still
I
jump
kind of
at you.
relate that from like Dusk Till Dawn.
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But then there's things where it's like this is supposed to be a narrative experience and you're supposed to just go through it like fucking Inside or like, you know, those things. So just give the audience a heads up of like we're going to go into a lot of them, but all these games have scary moments into it, and we might even talk about some things that aren't even on the list.
Yeah.
But it's just really cool that
Well,
like,
the list is way too long to discuss the whole thing. Like this,
just wrote
have
every
we have a
game we
short
could.
list, but the list is like there's so many
there's
games.
so many more.
and I mean like you can go from third person to first person to just reading to investigative stuff. So it's stuff where you're
Yeah.
not fighting stuff to where you're just clicking around. So it's I love scary video games because I think it's very inventive to give people experiences that they have to feel for themselves. They like the
Yeah.
movie, you could run away. It's like I don't connect with any of these characters, so it doesn't matter. Or it's like this can never happen to me, but in video games, it is happening to you.
In a
So
sense,
those are things
yeah.
I love.
That's exactly my mentality with it.
I love that about scary video games.
Mhm.
And I'm usually the one I'm like, I'm down. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
about
I
this,
love
my
the
fans.
concept. I hate when it's me in charge and have to like determine the
Make
fate of the
decisions?
little me in the screen. I'm always like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
little me.
I didn't want this for you.
Like when
Didn't
I
want this
killed
for anyone.
like when I killed 3 people in Until Dawn, I'm like, oh shit. And everyone's like, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. But Corey, we want
And
to
now
start
we
us
know.
off.
Oh yeah.
Any of them from the list.
Like a top
I mean,
three,
Top 3.
quick top 3, and
Oh,
then like
geez.
which one impacted you the most?
Well, yeah, okay. I could do top 3. Dead Space is one of them. I think that
I never played Dead Space.
Dead Space, the trilogy is fantastic. Dead Space 1 and 2 are great, and then I played through Dead Space 3 cooperatively through the whole campaign. And the way they do that is really nice because they do split you up, but you can kind of affect what the other person, like you can shoot at the enemies trying to hurt your friend and vice versa, or like you can pull some levers for them, and then you get to fight together at some parts, and then they split you up again in Dead Space 3. And those, I think that's the game that made me jump the most.
And Dead Space, I don't know, it's an older game technically, right? But I mean,
Sort of,
what's
yeah.
the premise of it? I don't even understand. Like, I
You're-
know you're in space, you're like a miner or something like that, right?
Yeah, you're a miner in space, and it basically gets taken over by zombie aliens. Your ship.
So is
And
it aliens or is it zombie aliens?
It's like zombie aliens.
Like reanimated
Like they
corpses?
reanimate corpses, and then they also like collect body parts to become greater things. And
It's pretty horrifying.
it's awful, and
Do you end
it
up-
has some of the most efficient jump scares in a video game that I've ever played.
Do you end up finding out why they, or this is just a race and you're part of this weird ecosystem now?
You kind of find out why.
Because like with Doom, it's like you're in hell.
yeah,
I was like, you're on Mars. I'm like, oh, okay.
no, it's just shitty.
Okay.
It's like one of those inevitable evil kind of things. But then the one I wanted to talk about the most is Left 4 Dead.
One or
Left
two?
4 Dead 1 and 2
One and two.
for different specific reasons. It is a game that I bought with my dad, Mike. Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike.
On a whim, we bought it.
Shout out
Oh.
to Wims.
We thought
Shout out to Wim.
we looked at the box and we're like, co-op. Zombies. Okay,
Zambin.
let's try this out. And so we got home, we popped it in, and we played it for 3 months. Like that's
Oh.
it was. We were obsessed. My buddy Nate
They
would
went to
come
the
over.
bathroom. I mean,
My buddy Nate would
I don't
come
know.
over and play, and like we would have like 3-person, 4-person couch co-op playing
your-
through
who's
these
your character?
campaigns. The first one was I was Bill,
Bill.
and my dad was always Francis. the biker guy, and I was
He
the
reminds
old
you of Ron Perlman.
grizzled. I'm usually, if there's an old grizzled veteran of some sort, I'm usually gonna play that guy.
I always
I'm
like,
like, he's kind of like Gandalf.
I always
yeah.
like the shotgun guy.
Sort of a wizard, but
So
not.
France is my boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone can have a shotgun in it.
Well, he starts out like that's his character. Like
Yeah.
France,
His loadout.
what's your Bill has the fucking assault rifle.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, but you always just start out with just a pistol in the
Pistol.
beginning of the game. And the thing is, they're not inherently like quote unquote scary. Like it's not slow and creepy, but it's that like anxiety Dawn of the Dead type of
Well-
like, we just shot one zombie and we turn the corner and there's 200 more that are now running at us. Or, oh, hey, there's the exit right in front of us. And then 2 tanks show up and you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, not even that for me. Like I remember when I played it.
Or the
first.
witches.
I was gonna say is like when you hear those off-key 2 keys play, cling, cling, and then you're like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a witch.
It's a witch.
It's a witch.
And so,
I don't
so-
want to.
So that
my
was
God.
a really fun game, and like they had the aesthetic down on that, and the unique zombies like the smoker, the hunter, and the boomer. I thought were all fantastic. And then Left 4 Dead 2 comes around, and they introduce melee weapons like guitars and samurai swords. It takes place in the South, like Louisiana
The
and stuff like
charger,
that.
and then like
And oh man, this is one of those
jockey.
situations. This is one of those situations where a sequel literally takes every expectation you had and just takes it a step further. Like every aspect of the game, I feel like was enhanced, and they even introduced a kind of what's it called, failsafe, so people couldn't just sit around and gather stuff. If you were in one area for
AFK.
too long, more and more special zombies would show up. So it forced you to keep moving,
Right.
and like as you would in a
Quickly.
survival situation, and like work together and figure it out. It also had the like scenarios, like the first one where you had to like, all right, we're gonna flip the switch, and it's gonna make a lot of noise,
Yeah, that roller coaster sucks.
and we're gonna have to fucking
my
hold
God.
out here. But they are some of my dad still plays it to this day online, Left 4 Dead 2, and he fucking kills it. Like he is 10 times better than I
master.
have ever been. Yeah.
There is an unproduced Nerd On video of us playing the roller coaster, and
Yeah.
we died literally. Like
so
The
many.
I don't know if
wait,
I'm-
the
it's
roller
like-
coaster.
It's in the
Yeah,
second
Left 4 Dead
game,
2.
and we had to turn on like the electricity for the.
It's
for-
in the
for one of the
carnival,
levels.
Dark Carnival.
And-
So-
and we had
I
to go
was
onto this roller coaster.
And,
I
like-
was thinking of the Splash Mountain mod.
No, I haven't played any of the mods. I've only played it console only. I've watched a lot of the mods.
Oh.
But just from my experience, I've just liked the console feel of it. But the thing I liked about 2, specifically beyond like the weapons and stuff like that, is they introduced like themes, and each theme had unique zombies to that. So like if you did the carnival episode, or,
all the
or
clowns.
they're all like
Oh.
movie posters, right? They all had clowns and makeup and stuff like that. Or if you did, you know, you had the trailer park swamps episode. Everyone, there were like scary swamp people and stuff.
Weren't there some like in hazmat suits too,
Yep.
or stuff like that?
Hazmat
Yeah.
suits with the gas tanks on the
The
back that you
army
could
people.
shoot, and yeah, it was just I think
cool.
they're just fun. Like they're
Yeah.
really fun and high octane
me,
fear.
I would-
Fun
I would-
is a word to use to describe that game that I don't quite agree with,
I
but that's
honestly
all
would say,
right.
like the way the game is, I think it's more fun than scary.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like the Smash Bros of like shooter games, where like it's way more fun to just play with other people.
Yeah.
Like you could play it with one person, but you're not getting your money's worth.
See, for me,
Yeah.
anxiety and fear are hand in hand in that sense. So like that is more than fear inducing, it's anxiety inducing when you're trying to like we're almost to the end, and then
You're hurt. Someone's bandaging up.
yeah,
and all
like
that.
you're low on ammo. You suddenly run out of ammo, or you know you have to run down and hit this switch. But
Take a
in
shot of
between you and
adrenaline.
there is like 200 zombies charging you and your team, and you're in a corner and like. So that had the most
Game
most
over,
impact
man.
on me. I mean, I like the slow horror genre, but for me that was the one I
Very high-paced.
I continually go back
There is
to.
no such
Yeah.
thing as camping in
Like
that game.
yeah, no, I still play that game.
Yeah.
And like the amount of weapons you get in the second one, like you could go Desert
Chainsaw.
Eagle, 2 pistols, chainsaw. There's 4 different types of shotguns and assault rifles. You could do the single burst. So, yeah.
Automatic shotgun all day.
Every time you found one, you were
Yeah.
like,
In that one, I liked playing Nick, the guy in the white suit.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Whoever's like the big boy, I'm always like that. I always like
Yeah,
playing that.
Big
Nick
boy.
has that line to coach when he's like, "I'm getting too old for this shit," and they're going up the stairs, and Nick goes, "Who knows? Maybe the helicopter. Maybe it's made of chocolate." He goes, "You son of a," and then it just goes to the next scene. I just loved that line. Or Ellis, like it introduced more humor. The second one, which some people didn't like, but I did because it reminded me of those like George Romero, Quentin Tarantino. Like it reminded me of those like cheesy one-liners they would always have in those films
Yeah.
that would make you laugh, like the B zombie movies. Like
It's
Ellis,
almost kind of like how Zombieland was.
yeah, like Ellis always talks about his buddy Keith. This one time, me and my buddy Keith were up on the roofs, and like every
He'd
single
never
one of those
shut
gets me.
up.
Yeah. Or Nick when he's all like, like I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Oh.
Well done.
That was okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
that was
Okay,
good.
Cool. But yeah, that's my game.
I always get
for
so
sure.
invested, and then you just destroy it.
I tried to like itch my ear to make it look like it was.
You did.
Anyway,
And it was good. Good job.
body language,
But-
y'all.
But
I'm
face-
passing this off to someone now.
Caitlin.
Uh,
That's good content, Caitlin.
right? The Ring.
All right, Josh.
No.
That's
the
The
one that
Grudge.
scared me the most is going to be PT.
PT.
PT. I experienced that.
Also known as playable trailer.
I didn't
For those
really.
of you who don't know what it is.
I was just told that it was a scary game, and
Oh my
that was
god.
it. And I was like, scary game, okay. And I was at my friend's house who has like the whole theater set up, like
Yes.
projector on the wall,
Nice.
and they shut off all the lights.
That's how you have to play.
Um,
Can I stop you real quick? Because like
yeah.
this isn't a game I knew about until Tom showed me. Can
You're
you
welcome.
explain to our? It's like a little one of those unknown.
It's very
ones.
special.
Yeah.
Well,
too.
okay,
That's true.
It was Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and Norman Reedus collaboration on it. And it was released on PlayStation Network literally for like a very
Not
short amount of
long.
time.
And it's not a full game.
And the thing is, when you beat it, you understood what the trailer was for because they just dropped it. They just dropped it like it's hot, like it was fucking Beyonce, Lemonade. And they're like, yo, play this game. It's like, okay. And then you
Yeah.
play it, and everyone lost their shit. And so there are people, it's kind of like Flappy Bird. Like people who still have it, like can be like, oh, I have a legacy console because it has fucking PT on it because you can't get PT anymore.
Yeah.
And then the
And
game,
the type of game it is what I meant
no,
to
well,
say.
she'll
like,
explain it,
yeah.
but like that game at the end of it is the trailer for Silent Hills, which was a Hideo Kojima creation, but then Konami got canceled in 2015 to later on reformed as an independent company in late 2015 to do Death Stranding.
Stranding.
Strandling.
Death Straddling.
Oh,
Death Straddling something.
Straddling death.
Little different game.
But yeah, so go on, tell us how the play is.
So I knew literally nothing about this other than scary, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be jump scares. This is terrible. So I was all like squished up against my friend, being like, all right, like if you think it's coming, just tell me. And I didn't realize that it like fucks with your brain
Mhm.
because you wake up in this room and you hear talking, and then you open a door to like a hallway in a house,
A dimly lit.
A
one.
dimly
it's
lit,
but it's not too lit.
L-shaped hallway.
L-shaped
So it goes
hallway.
around the corner.
So it goes down a hallway with like the family photos and stuff up, and like a little cabinet on your left, and then you turn and there's like the front door. You can't go out the front door. There's like a chandelier above your head, and there's like a bathroom that you pass on your right. And then you go down the hall and you end up in the concrete room you woke up in again.
Yeah.
And then you
go through a
keep-
door at the end of that hall, and when it closes behind you, it's like a loop, right?
Yeah, it's a loop. So you're stuck in this L-shaped loop.
And it's
Forever.
11:59 or like 1:59 a.m.
And like the radio's playing, and there's like very specific family photos everywhere and things on the
The
counter.
light gets a little dimmer.
and like
turns
you,
more
so you
red.
keep going in this loop and things change.
Each time.
And the more you notice them, like I think it was the things that you notice affect the next loop. So
Well, like
and
by
there were
like
specific orders
by
to
the
do
fourth
things in.
loop, like the bathroom door would open,
Bathroom door would open
on its own.
And
or
then,
it
like,
would shut
but-
or
and then like by the sixth one, you'd hear a baby crying, and then
In
you
the
go into the
bathroom.
bathroom, and then there's like this
A
xenomorph fetus looking thing in there,
crying in the sink.
and it's bloody. And then
I'm
all of a
good.
sudden,
Yeah.
I'm good.
well, all of a sudden, like you go around another couple times, and then there's like a woman in a white dress, but then there's like red lights on her, and it's like, I'm not going over there, but you have to. That's the only forward momentum you can go.
It's like the most terrifying haunted house you've ever gone through. Times a
Without
thousand.
actually
But the thing
going through
is-
it.
Like it's that like in a haunted house when you see that actor down the hallway and you're like,
I'm
and
just gonna wait here.
that's the exit right next to them. God
and
damn
also,
it.
I mean, like this is one big scare is like once you go through the entire beginning and go to the final end where you like would loop again, the door's cracked open, which it never usually is. And then you go to it, you can't open the door. And you're just there because you're like, there's nothing else to do until you actually stay there for like a little bit of time. Then like a womanly ghost figure would like look at you and then close the door. And then the only thing you can do is go forward. So you have to go through that door that she just closed. But then the game would end. And you're like, what the fuck? But then all of a sudden the time is forward. and it's like 1201 or like 201 or something like that, and it's all
so
green.
Fucked.
Instead, you're like, did I beat the game or not? Did I not beat the game?
Like
Like keep going through the same loops and shit.
And there's like a swinging bloody fridge where the
Ugh.
chandelier used to be,
Yeah.
and like someone's beating on it from the inside.
Yeah.
So that was like the one that had the most impact of being like, fuck this, no. But that was definitely the most terrifying game for me. Another one would be that I really liked was Fatal Frame. And it's there's I think 5 of those games out now. They might be working on a 6th, but they're always like some young lady has to
It's
use
not Japanese if it's not. If
I
there's no
know.
young lady in there.
Some young lady has to like go to some old creepy house and use this camera to like take pictures of ghosts, and that's the only way to keep her alive. Otherwise, they'll kill her as ghosts.
It's the only way to do damage to them.
Yeah, is by taking a picture of them with this thing called the camera obscura.
There is a Thai film called Shutter, which later on got adapted to an American film called
Like
Shutter.
Shutter. Like I'm
Like
cold.
Shutter, like camera shutter.
Camera shutter.
Oh, okay. Shutter.
Yeah,
Shutter.
Shutter.
But yeah, I really liked those games because not only were they interesting and like pretty and scary, but I wasn't playing them.
So you like watching it?
I was really big into watching Markiplier at the time, and I loved watching him because he would like laugh at things, and he'd always be like, "Shields up," and put a middle finger up at the screen, and I'm like, "Thank you, I'm safe. The shield is there."
Do you
like
use that to this day?
I miss some. Yes, I do.
Brigitte over here.
Yeah, no, that's what I do for sure. But because before I could never play scary games. Like Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead is actually my 3rd game because I really wanted to play games with my friends online that were like in California, and the game that they always wanted to play was Left 4 Dead. And there was a period of time where I was so scared of zombies, I couldn't even like look at posters of them because it scared me so bad. So bad. Could not handle.
My experience is the total opposite. I'm just like, it brought me and my dad together. Like, that's why it's so special to me.
And it did, like, I met the people that I played games with at a con, and because we kept playing games together, like, that's how I got to know them better, and ended up crashing with them, and that's why I moved out here actually. But like, so Left 4 Dead has the same kind of impact, and then it brought me together with other people.
Real quick, because a friend of the show, Mr. David Barry, who's on the Capes Crusaders, is afraid of zombies. Why are you afraid of zombies?
Besides the obvious.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
What's the obvious?
Well, that they're undead, they'll eat your brains, and you become one and kill for the show.
Or like decomposing.
Well, yeah,
like,
what scares you about
you
zombies?
become a husk of
that
who
they're
you really
like
are.
people,
just
and
like I am.
you never know if they're gonna have that like awareness, or if you're gonna trick yourself into thinking that they might have the like cognitive awareness, and you might find some nugget of compassion that ends up getting you killed.
Yeah. If I ever become a zombie, take me out.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care if someone's like, we might have a cure. I don't
Double
know.
tap.
Yep.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Rule number
See,
1 or 2?
Shoot me and then throw a stick of dynamite on
Rule
me.
number
I don't
3,
care.
I think.
See,
Kill it
but
with fire.
I would like struggle with that because I'd be like, well, we'll just,
No.
you know.
You should watch. You should actually
Corey.
probably watch
I'd be like,
Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead
guys."
then. Because that happens. There's like an existential moment where it's like, should we kill this person or not? But then
it's not really that person anymore. So like,
of course, that's why you kill
but
them.
still,
But it's Corey.
David Barry is afraid of zombies because he's like, it's real. So he's like,
it
real
does
for
feel
me.
kind of, well, I
Wow.
mean, in a
Well,
way,
there's a
it's,
fungus that technically
The
controls
cordyceps,
ants. Yeah.
which is
oh, I know.
which might be somebody's
All about
topic
that.
of the next one. So,
Josh, sorry. Yes.
Joshy
I
Josh.
have so much to say.
You can say more if you want.
Oh, we will get there. Don't
Okay.
Yeah,
you
we'll drop
worry.
them off, but we'll go
Don't
through
you
the
worry.
circle.
This is a cul-de-sac. I'll be back.
I mean, would this be the time that I talk about games that were not intended to be horror films?
Is there any type of scary moments?
Games that were not intended to be horror films. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, no, I mean that had scary moments. Like,
Games that were not intended to
Explain
be
that.
scary games, right?
well, I mean, this wouldn't be my list of favorite, but I mean, like a recent example is Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
You're just swimming underwater, you're going, and then all of a sudden you get attacked by an eel, and it's like
It's Mario.
Yeah.
but like
I was right.
you all of a sudden get into this
Eels
like
truly
moment
are
where
the
you're fighting, but
scariest.
it's jump scares get me every time. That's what I will say.
They're
Yeah.
cheap to me,
They're cheap,
but they
work.
They
Work on me every single time.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
Okay, so scary
For-
games.
What's your favorite scary game that was a movie?
That was intended as a comedy.
No. So when I
Breakfast Club.
got my PS4 a few years back, I bought 2 games.
Shout out to those games.
Destiny.
Shout out to
Destiny 2.
That is a scary game because you only
Destiny
get a third of
1
it.
and shots fired. The Last of Us. And Last of Us, I was amazed by because again, mind you, I was off gaming for so long that I had no idea what was like.
Oh yeah, you quit for a while.
It just
How far it had come.
how far it had come, and it was so fucking scary. And the thing is that it's not like the thing about that game is it's more the whole thing feels like it's anticipation because it's more of a stealth game. It's not a go in and take out
Run and gun.
everything. It's like hide behind this car.
Hide behind this pillar.
Don't make
noise over there.
Don't make any noise because there's a clicker that's gonna like go by you,
Which I was
or
gonna
go
say-
on top of the bus.
Because Corey mentioned the fucking fungus that makes
Mhm.
zombies out of
Yeah.
ants and stuff, which is the cordyceps.
I
And there's a
hate
movie
it.
that came out. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's like fungus zombies. And I'm like, this is Left for Dead
Is it Left 4 Dead or Last of Us?
or Last of Us. This is
Yeah,
Last of Us.
Last of Us. And I loved Last of Us because I don't need to know like how the zombie apocalypse unfolded and all that kind of stuff. I want to know like what happens like 20 years later when life has gotten like they're figuring out how to live
Around it.
around it and with it.
Which is why the book World War Z is so good, and the movie is not World War Z. They stole the
Yeah.
title and used it, and I
For
hate
name
them.
recognition.
That's
It's a
upsetting.
zombie movie
Yeah.
with Brad Pitt in it.
Yeah,
So
Well, it's like what happened with I Am Legend too.
yeah. I mean, they stuck sort of to the source material where World War Z didn't at all.
Oh, okay.
Like the
That's
setting
fair.
wasn't even.
yeah, it
right.
literally was like
Like they didn't
Nothing to
even
do with it.
choose like maybe that one part we'll take. It was just like we're just
Oh.
gonna call it World War Z and write our own movie around it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sucked.
Wow.
It was
That's
really
unfortunate.
upsetting. Yeah,
But The Girl with All the Gifts.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
It's literally Last of Us, where a cordyceps fungus like literally makes zombies.
in
out
that
of
one
people.
there's like giant trees
Yeah.
of this like fungus.
But then I thought it was really cool with like Last of Us, where like it took like a kind of like it was kind of like what The Happening wanted it, I think, to be like, where it's
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, plants can fucking kill people.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, well, this is the most to me the logical way that we can become zombified.
yeah.
Zombified.
That was beautiful.
Everyone's
Zombie
speaking
Shizer.
so well tonight.
Yeah, we use
English
our big
is our
words.
first language.
Uh huh.
So it
Um,
didn't feature Mark Wahlberg going up to a tree and being like,
No.
"Hey tree, how you doing?
No, I would never do that.
No.
See,
Don't kill
and
us, all right?"
Like I kind of imagine if that sort of situation were to happen, that it'd be one of those things where like you're cognitively aware of it too. Where like if trees really wanted people to kill each other, I feel like it would be one of those things where you go and murder someone, but the whole time you're like, I don't want to do this. Kind of like when you eat junk food and you know, like, I don't want to eat this right now, but you're still putting it in your mouth.
I know this. I don't know that, but I think I get the theory behind it.
I feel
Well,
like it's very binary.
Here we are then.
I honestly feel like it's all very binary because like plants are just like, this is just my natural evolution of what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And now humans are susceptible. So this has to happen. It's not like I
Mhm.
have a choice. It's more like this is the next form of evolution.
The human body just becomes a vessel.
Yeah.
It just
So,
it has
see, I haven't
muscles
played
and
Last
stuff
of
like
Us.
that.
So essentially, that fungus was just like humans now. Is that about it?
I don't,
Yeah.
so I haven't played it and it came with my PS4.
What?
And I played like maybe you're like, that's the beginning when like this one character dies. You're like,
Yeah.
that's the beginning.
I don't think they expressly talk about it.
Well, because like, yeah, I think maybe that's not the important thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's why I think, again,
Well,
what's
it's kind
the
of fun because
horror-
it's an inciting event. It welcomes you into the world and it gets you. Because what I found interesting about that is, yes, it starts when the zombie apocalypse starts.
Yeah.
And your
and it
your
goes way later
your
on.
first playable character is the lead character's daughter,
Mhm.
and she dies.
Spoilers.
Well, we said
I
spoilers.
know, yeah, I'm
so,
just saying.
but it's like, and then you transfer like several years in the future, and you're like, what a choice
Corey.
to make.
What I've heard some people say, and you'll like this.
Mhm.
Logan the movie, or did you mean Last of Us the movie?
Oh yeah.
Because it's pretty much beat for beat kind of a similar thing where you have like the reluctant hero who has to like escort this a young girl who's like the hope.
Yeah,
of
I've seen
everything.
some memes where they replace Logan and 23 with the
Those
cover
two.
on Last of Us.
Last of
Yeah.
Us.
And it's like that where, but then imagine just zombies after you now. But then
Got
also there's people after you. So,
So it's kind of westerny, kind of.
yes.
Okay.
So it sounds
The
like
music
the
is very
worst.
westerny too.
But then, so like what Josh was saying, the beginning of the tutorial, the dad is the main character that you later play on, but you play as the little girl who's looking for the dad, and then you're running away because the zombie outbreak opens, and then you're like running for your life, and then a fucking like paramilitary guy shoots her and kills her, and then that's what makes him like become this grizzled man. It's dope.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, game
Hits you in the
spoiled for
feels.
me. Also, I don't want to play
But not
that 'cause
really.
that sounds really sad.
But not. It's an experience.
It's an incredible.
So
You-
much
you've
so that
beaten it.
people watch
yeah.
it. I have friends who don't play video games at
And just
all,
watch it.
and they've just went online and watched all the cutscenes together. And
There's
some,
yeah.
some
yeah, I mean,
people playing
people
it.
call them like the cutscene movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Shout out to Sierra and Carly and
And
Scott.
you got Troy Baker.
yeah,
as,
Troy Baker is too
yeah,
good
lead.
at
I
everything.
mean,
It's
He came
Naughty Dog.
into the Apple Store once, and I helped him out, and I freaked out, and only like 2 people knew who he was. But
I did.
It's Troy
You're like, I remember the exact words in Corey's mouth. He said, I got to help out one of my favorite voice actors.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, who?
besides my wife,
Baker.
Nice. Good.
Shout out
love
to
you.
Dana.
She's listening.
Roll back.
But
Trees,
yeah,
Shout
not
out-
tricks. Okay.
he's voiced like every character from every video game I've played. All
He
my
does,
favorite
and I'll
characters.
say this:
He's
he does a
everywhere.
really good Joker. after
Hamill
Mark
Joker,
after
yeah.
Hamill, which I'm like,
Yep.
that's not easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other Josh?
And the other one will be Dying Light.
Yes, I wanted to have a moment to talk to
I
you.
never
yeah.
played
talk
it.
with
We
you about
saw
that.
the trailer of it.
It's
the
that
second
same
one.
kind of Left 4 Dead, like it's anxiety fear. It's
Yeah,
not like a slow burn.
It's a very I mean, like Last of Us is chaotic in a way, but it's more of an anticipation chaotic.
Mhm.
Whereas Dying Light literally can be just chaotic at times. Like
Mm.
there's
It's usually
so
at night,
a
right?
friend of mine,
no, you
Not
don't want to
usually.
go at night.
You don't want
you don't want to go out at night.
Is chaotic during the day too?
Yeah,
It can
You
be.
want to-
Depends on the your
Yeah, you want to sleep through the night.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can.
You go out at night,
no,
you're a lunchable.
literally you will not like there's a couple of you can survive,
Yeah.
but you're not likely
There's some things
to.
that
They
make
call me
you-
the Night Walker.
Tom,
I'm about to.
Tom,
can I?
No, Tom, bring down the ego.
Tom,
It's
I-
not real.
Tom, Josh and I are people who have played this game religiously for a while.
It's one
and
I
I
almost
consider
platinumed.
myself very good at this game, and I very rarely go out at night.
No. You know what, guys? I would love to see Tom play this game.
Okay.
I feel
Please.
like
Night only.
I
Go
feel like
out
there
at
has
night.
to be a run where it's like you
Night
can
only
play
run.
only at night, but I feel
Well,
like
actually, there are some things that they're
you
like
cannot.
they're like some things you won't be able to do it.
And is there like hard difficulty settings and all that
there
stuff?
are different
Oh, I'm
difficulty
sure.
settings. Yeah,
Like I play it on the hardest one, which is why we don't go out. I mean, we do sometimes. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes
you gotta
it
do
makes
it.
you,
But
yeah.
it's all running. Like it's no. You
Yeah.
don't stay and fight. You always run
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
'Cause
I-
wait, so Dying Light, you're fighting against
Zombies.
vampires? Oh,
zombies.
Zombies.
It's all
I
zombies.
100% want to watch Tom play this now.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to hear Tom scream as he runs.
Well,
So it's like parkour. It's like Left 4 Dead, but then you
Oh,
mix
with
in
Mirror's Edge a little
parkour.
bit, right?
Yeah.
That was like one
I
at
think
a
it was. It's like it's almost like the perfect zombie game because I had everything that I loved in it, like RPG elements, it had
crafting.
Mhm.
and then it had like the parkour stuff. They'd like nailed, got like super well done.
But
Did you
also
play
has
the
like a-
expansion with the buggies?
No,
So much fun.
It also has like a bit of like a society building, right? Or world building that you can interact.
Sort
Not
of.
in the
You
first
unlock safe
one.
houses.
Okay, that's
yeah,
only
you
the
unlock
second
safe
one?
houses. Yeah.
That's about it. The second one is going to
be
be
more of that.
nuts.
based on your decisions and which
Yeah.
factions you
Right.
align
Yeah,
with.
which is going
I'm
to be
so excited
awesome.
for that.
I can't wait for that. Yeah.
I can't wait for Dying Light 2.
I can.
Oh my
wait.
gosh.
Uh,
So yeah, because a friend was like, "Oh hey, I think you'd like this game,"
Mhm.
and so I went to GameStop. I bought it. It was super on sale, and I popped it in. And I started playing it, and I think it was like the first like night because there's one level that you are required to at
Mhm.
night.
Go out.
You're stuck and you have to run. I think it's like the first level because you basically crash from a helicopter, you fall and you're like stuck and you got to get back to this huge safe house in the middle, but you're running the whole time and you're using your parkour skills and you're hearing screaming behind you.
Dope.
Oh,
Like not just like not like
Mhm.
people screaming
There's
like
a reason why Caitlin and I are on opposite
like
sides.
it's crazy
No,
shit.
no.
Dope.
yeah,
No.
the zombies in this sprint, and then
Mhm.
the ones at night are terrible.
Nope.
They
The
are
ultra
intense.
zombies.
Yeah,
The
they're
ultra zombies.
Yeah.
they're not even if you
Over
saw it, they're
9,000?
more monsters. They're
Dope.
just
Yeah. And if you run out of UV flares, you're fucked.
yeah.
Oh.
Stay in that. There are UV trails that you can kind of like follow UV lights, but
But it doesn't stop them. It just makes them more susceptible to damage.
Yeah.
And even then,
Well, even then, like
there was 3 of us beating on this thing for like a full minute.
and
No.
it'll
It was like, it
destroy
won't
you.
die.
Yeah, it'll
And then like
destroy
4
you.
more came and we got killed. So,
Yeah.
If
So
you
I
took
think
all
you
the
told me
elements
about
in that game
Yeah.
and put them together, it's a big old no from me.
I think I might want to play it again.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
I will watch and still
Yeah.
be
Is it
terrified.
multiplayer?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
yes.
4-person
Oh,
co-op.
my-
I never
Yeah.
played it.
No,
multiplayer.
no.
Then you missed out on 50% of the game because it's dope.
No.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play co-op with it.
Really?
So I've always
Did you
Guys.
guys find that developer's knife?
You can play it cross-platform PC to Xbox. I just want to throw that out there.
Wow.
Did you ever find the knife that developers left in the game?
Yes,
No, I didn't.
They left in
Yeah.
like this super OP knife.
it was
You had to
baller. It
find-
was like you could kill anything with one shot.
Oh, it was like
Yeah.
a scarab gun.
Oh,
It
no,
was like
I
a
didn't get
debug
that.
weapon
I
that they
didn't
left in.
need it.
Oh, so
You
cool.
can get-
Wow.
Well, no, you can
Wow.
get
But
really
I've got
strong.
badass over here.
I won't go out at night still.
But then, if you have this knife and you go out at night, are you still like a one-man army?
I mean, if you have the knife, it's pretty.
There's
it's-
damage. I think it breaks eventually.
Tom,
Oh, okay. No, okay. I'm just need to know.
Yeah, the
understand
weapons
game.
only have it like depending on the
Oh,
weapon,
yeah,
it
they-
can
they
have
wear
like 2
down.
or 3 repairs before it breaks forever.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
so even if you do get this OP like awesome knife, it has certain crafting items
I'm
that
just gonna
to
call
get
it
it.
the Dundee knife.
But you get blueprints to be able to. You build up
Yeah.
blueprints to be able to build upgraded weapons.
The expansion, get a bow and arrow,
What?
and that's all I've
Okay.
used ever
All right,
since.
I gotta
You
go.
get a boner?
You get a
It's pretty
boner.
All right, let's cut
You get a
that as
boner arrow?
always.
Yeah.
You get a
Boner?
boner arrow, and
Boner?
you also get a
I was
crossbow.
always nerd on.
Yeah.
And the
Ollie.
crossbow and the bow and arrow are the only 2 weapons I ever had equipped at.
Oh my God.
Ollie, you go next.
So this list includes. I don't know why I didn't think of this as a horror game.
The Lion King
Which it
on
absolutely is.
Horror
SNES.
game.
Lion King for SNES.
Those brambles.
It's actually one of my, interestingly enough, it's actually one of my favorite games of all time, and that is BioShock.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a horror for
Big
sure.
Daddy.
Yeah, it's absolutely
It's a
horror.
slow burn.
I'm like, I don't know
I've
why
never
I think of
touched
it
that
immediately
for
as
a
horror.
reason.
Hard.
I'm
What are the
I would
little
like
girls
to add
called?
that. I'd like to
They're
add
like
that to
little
my
sister,
top
aren't they?
Yeah.
top.
list.
Yeah,
Top
top
Shack?
list.
They're the little sisters, right? The little girls and Big Daddies and
Yeah.
I find them to be more terrifying than the Big Daddies.
The reason though that it's my favorite is because of the masterful like narrative experience.
I mean,
Yeah.
for those who are uninitiated, could you walk us through a little bit
Yeah.
just as premise of the game?
The first one.
Yeah.
'Cause
So the premise of the first, it is the first one. I
They're all
love I
insane.
love Infinite, but the first one has a special place in my heart. It's set in I think it's
I
the
noticed you didn't say
50s.
2.
Not 2 doesn't exist.
See, all I know about this game is that it's like
I just wanted to. We had a moment.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
all I know about the game is it's like scary murder times underwater.
Sort of.
2
Go
is
ahead.
literally
Yeah.
a cash grab.
Yeah.
Because Ken Levine was working on Infinite and they wanted to get another game out.
Yep.
Oh.
Just like Origins. Batman Origins.
Anyways,
Anyways,
Hmm.
it's set. I think it's set in the 50s or something around there, if I'm not mistaken.
Ye-
Or
I
is it earlier?
I don't know if it has like a quote unquote date. Maybe you can
Yeah.
look it up. I always, and maybe I just missed that. I haven't played it, mind you, in like 10 years
whichever one has the
but-
vinyl
But
record
it's got a
players.
very
or over whenever that came out. I played it.
very strong Art Deco look
Yeah.
and feel to
Yeah.
it,
Super Art Deco.
Which makes sense why
which
you
I
love it.
love.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Art Deco fan. And it's set. It's basically like at some point.
it feels like the
this
50s
one-
though, for sure.
Yeah, this one
Regardless, what's the story?
tycoon. This one tycoon built an underground city, called Rapture, and he wanted to build this like utopian society, this like perfect paradise kind of society, but it's underwater.
Atlantis.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then you play a character whose plane crashes in the middle of the ocean, and all you see is this like lighthouse thing, and you make your way over to it, and
Michael
you
Douglas.
realize it's the entrance to Rapture, and you
You-
make your way
You
down,
get in a bubbly elevator.
get in an awesome bubbly elevator.
There's a specific name I can't recall right now.
On your way down, you get I think you get introduced to some guy on the comms. Forget his name. Is it Atlas or something?
Regardless.
He starts talking to you about like what's going on, what you need to do. He gives you like instructions on what to do to get to safety and all that stuff. And you realize that like shit has hit the fans. Like there are like
Not
basically
just
the
one
whole-
fan, all of the fans.
all of the fans. All the like the population's gone crazy. They're kind of like these like they're almost like demented. They're not really like
So
zombies.
this is like the plot of Doom, the movie.
They're junkies.
Yes.
They're like
Bios-
super junkies.
yeah.
Side note:
yeah.
Bioshock is set in 1960.
1960. Thank you. Because there's airplanes. Yeah. And it's so I don't want to spoil too much of that because I don't want to rob anybody of the experience of BioShock. So I won't spoil anything. But the whole point is like going through and like figuring out the mysteries
What
and
happened?
getting to like safety and all that stuff and figuring out what happened. And it's a shooter.
First person.
It's a first person shooter.
Bathysphere. That's what it's called.
There you
Little
go.
submarine ball.
Bathysphere.
Yeah.
Um,
It's by Andrew Ryan is the guy who built it, and you played Jack.
You play
And he's
Jack.
always asking you to do things. Would you kindly go this place and
Well,
do this?
no,
And-
but the sidekick, the Irish character,
oh,
who's that guy's name? Because so this game has no cutscenes.
Mhm.
It is completely.
it's all
told-
in game.
And,
Oh.
and I think this is, and Ken Levine is the creative director of this and Infinite. And I think BioShock is the most masterful narrative experience I've ever played. Like it's like, because up until that point and beyond that point, you have play, stop, watch a movie, play, stop, watch a movie.
And I've said before, it's like sometimes I'll say this: cutscenes are great,
Cutscenes are great.
but if you could do it in gameplay, it makes
The
it 10
entire
times
story
better.
is told to you in your perspective as you walk through the environment.
Because it's
Amazing.
happening to
That's
you.
way more horrifying.
So like the way Atlas is your friend, quote unquote your friend.
Yeah.
And you're fighting. Andrew, he created Ryan, the guy who created Rapture, created these enhanced soldiers called splicers,
Mhm.
yeah.
and they would take specific injections to give
Right.
themselves enhanced abilities.
Steroids.
Yeah, it's
And you get
basically
those,
serious,
so
but it's like telekinesis and
Don't
stuff
do
Right.
drugs,
like that.
kids.
So
Stay in
it's
school.
a first
Supernatural
person
drug
shooter, but then like that's on your right
enhancements.
hand. Your left hand is the I know they're called Vigors in Infinite. I forget what they call them in the first one. It's been a long time since I played it.
Abilities.
You basically get different abilities. So you have like thunder. You can like shoot
Thunder
thunder. You can
hands.
shoot fire. You can shoot
Lightning
like
bolt.
bees out of your hands and like distract people. And there's a lot of really cool like abilities, and the gameplay is super fun. Like they nailed that part down pretty quick.
What
pretty
are the
good.
scary aspects to it?
It's
The
about
little
the fact
sisters are pretty scary.
little scares are little sisters
Little
are scary.
scares.
They are.
So
technically.
they're like because it's all in your perspective, you'll see like a little creepy little girl like run off. And then they're paired up with these things called Big Daddies, which are like these giant like aquatic
Behemoth.
suits. But they're like, I don't even know what they are exactly. I can't remember like all the
Big
small
Daddies?
details. Yeah, Big Daddies. Are they like people? Are they
I
I think
think
robots?
they are.
They're
They're-
part of the. They're some of the splicers.
Some
are
of the
they not?
splicers. So they're like the
Juggernaut-looking
watchers, or they're like the guardians
Plasmids.
of these.
Plasmids are the powers you
There
get.
you go, plasmids. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
a survival game, basically, essentially survival shooter.
I actually have all of those games, but I was too scared to ever play them because
Play by- so
one,
now it's time.
underwater is terrifying, and
It is.
two, the splicers from any video I had seen, I would like start watching it, and they'd come at you with a knife, and I'm like, well,
And they're
that's
also
enough.
wearing like masks,
Masks.
like
Yeah.
bunny
Like-
rabbit masks,
As,
and
like they had like a gala or something. But the whole story is told to you through like these recordings that you pick up and play, and through the intercom, people
See,
are
that's
talking
scary
to you,
too.
and you walk through these
I hate
environments that are
intercoms.
kind of like they kind of like paint you a picture of what you're
would you
learning
kindly?
about or whatever. Yeah,
But yeah, number
So
number.
that
Then
was-
Infinite is phenomenal as well.
Infinite was
It's not
incredible.
a scary one as much.
Less
but
of a scare, yeah, not as horror oriented.
more of an adventure.
But
more of a
Also, Bioshock
psychological.
was very dark. Like the lighting of the
Bioshock very
levels.
dark, yeah, very
Infinite was brighter though, wasn't it? And it was
yeah,
above,
so
it was,
Infinite
like,
is in
up
the
in
sky,
yeah,
as
up in
opposed
the
to
air.
underwater.
it's a sky based city.
And
yeah.
it had a
But
very
they're
like
linked.
American theme
They are
too.
linked.
They're very linked.
I love it,
Oh,
and they I love the combat. Infinite's combat is just super fun.
Any
But
other ones?
they're incredible games.
Oh.
Resident Evil was the other horror franchise I think that I actually cared about. 4 was really fun. 1 was really good. 2 is good. Code Veronica X,
Yeah.
that was really good. I liked 5 and 6 fine, but it was kind of like for me, it was like heading downhill, the series. Like for me, like 4 was the last great one. Like I say, like Final Fantasy X is the last great Final Fantasy in my opinion. So that's how I feel about
what a strong opinion that is.
Resident Evil. It is a strong opinion.
I see a hand up.
Well, I
Josh?
just thought because you were talking about Resident Evil, like the last like really scary game that I played was Resident Evil 7. And like
Oh,
that
yeah.
one I couldn't finish. I was so like I just couldn't.
Yeah, I liked the tank controls. Like
Yeah.
to me, that adds to the terror of it.
Yeah.
To where you can't just like dodge around and be all like slippery. You have to like stop, turn your body 90 degrees, and then walk forward again. Like
Yeah.
that was, I love those
like-
controls.
In Resident Evil, the original one's not being able to walk and shoot. Like the thing about
Mhm.
5, like I love 5.
You have
That's
to
just the
stop
one
and
I've
aim.
played the most. 4 was great as well. And I
I
think
played a lot of 5.
saved the series. I always say 4 saved the series,
Yeah.
but like 5, just coming from someone who played Halo a lot, having to stop to shoot
Mm-hmm.
terrified me.
Yeah.
You like, I can't do both?
It's cool because it's very intentional.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
Very
what?
intentional because it's like you don't get to actually be like a video gamer like to
Mhm.
play it. You don't get to run and gun. You have to stop.
Well, it's
Mhm.
also it was a limitation of the time of that time where you didn't have analog sticks, so like your D-pad was to move, and then you had to, like you couldn't. There was nothing to aim
Yeah.
because there was no joysticks, so you had to stop, press
Press
a
an
button,
aim
press
button,
an
and
aim
then your
button,
D-pad
and then all of a
became
sudden
aim.
D-pad became aim.
So much I have to do within a limited amount of
Yeah,
time.
so that was like, but it added the constraints, like added kind of like how constraints add to the authenticity of like horror movies.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same idea
I
of
mean,
like,
there's the same theory of like with Castlevania where like the whip actually has the delay
yeah,
because you can't just like press it. It's not 1 for 1. It's like press it and then like half a second later the whip goes
Mm.
because it would feel like you're not just like attacking things because you're brave, but you're in
Yeah.
a scary mansion.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I think it was great.
but the other one was Last of Us. I love that. I love that game to pieces.
Yeah.
Little itty bitty pieces
To death.
to death, one might say.
and then come back to life.
Thumb.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Thumb. Thumb,
Scary
thumb, thumb,
video
thumb.
games. So I put one in there. And I remember it was a big craze, and there's even a movie now about it. It's called Slender Man.
Oh,
8 pages.
no.
I remember it was like a website where you had to download it.
It was
super
no, it
cheap.
was not
Marble
a website or
Hornets.
anything. It was a deep web terrifying story thing that started on.
No, well, the game.
Oh yeah, I thought you just meant Slender Man
Oh,
as
no,
a
no,
as
no.
a as a concept. I was like, that's a 4chan thing.
Oh yeah, well, I meant like the
From
game.
back in the
Either
day.
you played it online or you downloaded it, and it was like 1.2 megabytes or some shit. But it's Slender Man in the 8 pages. You just start out. You're in the fucking woods, and then your back is against a fence, and you find your flashlight, and you have to walk around.
And
walk
that
around.
was based off the Marvel Hornets, right?
No,
It was like a YouTube series.
no. All I know is
You don't know about?
all I know is
Oh.
Slender Man's this tall dude with the suit.
Remember
with
the guys
long
who went
fingers,
looking for Slender
and
Man?
he has no
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Tim Sutton.
They based that off I believe they based that off the photos, the Photoshop photos that people made first.
Yeah.
And then there's a mockumentary online about these guys who get haunted by Slender Man. It's actually really well made for
And now there's
being
a
like
feature-length movie.
15 years ago or whatever it was.
But yeah, so pretty much what you would do, you're wandering around these woods.
Marble.
It's first
Marble
person,
Hornets. I'm sorry.
It's really
and
scary.
You would look for these pages, and these pages, each time would like distort your view. But then like once Slender Man was getting closer to you, like it would get even more hazy. And so it's like, oh fuck. And I remember like I was playing it a lot because I was like, I just want to beat the game. I just want to know what happens. Because with
I
scary,
just want to know what
because with
happens.
scary video games, like or scary things in general, there's to me there's always like a window of logic that I'm like I look through. I'm like I'm fine. But then it's kind of like I just want to know what happens. Like, do I get anything? Do I learn anything from it? Does anything like? Do I get to see it? I don't even give a shit if I die. I just want to see what happens when when I find out all the 8 pages, and then you get to it and it just ends. You're like, oh okay, well whatever. But I remember it was just really scary because you play it at night and all that shit,
Ugh.
and like the music as well as the
Yeah, don't
the
show me
haze
it,
and
Corey.
the viewfinder is like the worst thing ever. Another game. It's not really a scary game, but it has horror genre in it. Horror genre. H.P. Lovecraft stuff in there, which I'm a big fan of, is Bloodborne,
Oh
which is the
yeah.
same creators of Dark
I
Souls.
never got into those games.
And you're a hunter, and you overlook this city, and you overlook the city of Yarnum, and there's these hunts that go down, and you realize this big plot is around you, and then the first few words you get is "fear the old blood," and the great ones will blah blah blah, and you're like, what the fuck are these great ones? What is old blood? What is this dream? All this shit, and
Old money.
no,
I fear the old money.
and you're a hunter, and the thing is like, there was this church that would say that they would absolve everyone of their sins, but then this whole city started becoming corrupted, becoming more beast-like. And then you were a hunter, and there's RPG elements and shit like that. But then you would fight these monstrosities as well as the villagers that live there. But every time you die, you'd wake up in a dream, and in the dream you could come back to reality. But then that dream in itself is a dream within the dream.
That sounds like my life.
And it's like, and Corey, we talked about this in video
This
games
is a
with
dream
us.
right now, Corey.
I know. I
Because
know.
when you spawn in, the first thing you see is like a nurse inject you with something, right? You wake up, you're in this lab, and you fight a werewolf, and then you have no weapons.
The monster design in that game
Is
was just
amazing.
like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, no, it was horrifying.
But then like you have to die in order to get your weapons. Like that's how you end up in Hunter's Dream.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, what you end up finding out, it's like you're learning more and more about this world, and you get these things called madmen's knowledge. With madmen's knowledge, you end up seeing the Eldritch horrors.
Is it? Oh, it is. It is like.
It
so
is
it's like
it's
like.
100% H.P. Lovecraft.
Well, I was
stuff.
gonna say it's not quite 100% because isn't it also like gothic?
It's in a gothic
So it's a
setting.
mix.
It's a
It's-
gothic setting,
Yeah.
but then everything are great ones that live outside of our
That's
dimensions.
awesome.
And so like they're tentacle things.
Because
and-
usually, for those of you who don't know, Lovecraft is usually set in like the 50s and 60s,
Yeah.
30s to 60s area.
and you know
Yeah.
everyone's
So if
wearing
it's-
gothic Victorian.
if it's in
clothing.
Gothic Victorian, that seems really creepy.
And the cool thing is that like you get madmen's knowledge and you get more insight. But with the more insight you'd see these things they're invisible when you don't have the madmen's knowledge. But the thing is, there are creatures that give you frenzy, and the frenzy will actually just make you bleed out,
Ugh.
and that
Oh,
only
geez.
increases when you have more madmen's knowledge. So there's a give and take of like, do I get more madmen's knowledge to be able to see and fight these things, or do I, lose my not have it, and then I can actually not get fucked up by these things. So it's kind of like it is the H.P. Lovecraft thing, where it's like when you start learning more about the world, you
Yeah.
start going closer and
more
closer
and
to
more
insanity,
insane.
which is
Mm.
beautiful. And the thing is, the end of the game, spoilers, is if you embrace what's happening, you actually evolve to become a great one of these creatures of another dimension.
Oh.
And you're like this little tentacle baby, and then like the doll takes care of you, and then you become like another creature of the dreams. And
Jesus.
so it's super cool. I love it. Like it's not even scary. I mean, the music is beautiful.
It's
Can
not
be.
even scary.
No,
well,
Well,
to
for you.
it's not.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I mean, there's horrific looking things.
There's no
but
like jump scares.
there's
or
no
anything.
jump scares. Like, and my next game would be Dead by Daylight, which I've really found like a love to because it is just nothing but an homage to the horror movies and
Mhm.
horror feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's a asymmetrical co-op game
Yeah.
where you're 4 survivors and then 1 killer, and everyone plays
Oh.
a piece. And the killer could either be Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason,
Or like a host of
Leatherface,
unknown.
or create ones that are created by the game devs. But the 4 survivors, they wake up in like a pretty sizable area, and they have to turn on 4 or more engines to get
It's
the
fucked up.
the gates open so you can escape. But the thing is, every time you fuck up or you do something, make noise, you alert the killer.
where
and
you
the
are.
Killer only thing has to do is take you and then hurt you, put you on a hook, and sacrifice you to the greater above,
The old gods.
the old god. And it's super. I just love it because like you can play as Michael Myers, and there's a thing called the terror radius.
Well, you did Freddy Krueger pretty well. You put people to sleep
Yeah,
and then
Oh.
take them.
Ooh.
you put it in dream state. But then like and each villain you play as has different difficulty. So like Michael Myers is one of the harder ones to play with. But everyone has a terror radius. So if you're a survivor, your terror radius will alert you when like the killer's getting closer to you. And so like music will, or like dun 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 dun, and then
They
like
use their themes, right?
yeah, well, one person
Mm.
like the huntress, she's like this woman, like giant Amazon woman with hatchets and a bunny mask, and she'll just hum. And the humming will get louder and louder as she gets closer to you. And you're wearing headphones and shit. And it's super cool. But then like Michael Myers, you're in the fucking like suburbia. And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh my God. It's like you're in the movie. It's so amazing.
That
It's
John
so
Carpenter
fun.
track, though.
It's so good. And then you can
Mm.
play as Jigsaw, which was like you play as the pig face. I was like, can you play as the little thing on the
Oh,
tricycle?
Oh, that's what I thought it was gonna be.
Let's play a game.
I want to play a game.
Man, that game, I was terrified to play it as one of the like survivors, but the moment I was the murderer, I was like, yes, come back here.
Well, the fun thing I like about it is like you get to have fun being a killer, but also the second thing is like when you're a survivor, like you build not purely just based on like jump scares. It's purely that anxiety, anticipation of like
Yeah.
he's gonna come get me. He's gonna come.
I feel like it's a better version of what Evolve was trying to be.
That's
Does that
fair.
make sense?
I never played Evolve, but I know.
Did
that it
anyone
had a
play
lot
Evolve?
I did not.
Had a tumultuous.
but I
it was
heard
a
the same
great
things about
game,
it.
and then they introduced a monster called the Wraith, and it broke the
Yeah.
game.
That's the one where like it's 4 people hunting down the alien monster, and it
Yeah.
as it eats the wildlife,
It gets stronger.
it evolves into a
Stronger.
stronger monster.
Can you play the monster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But the Wraith was so powerful that it became no fun to be a hunter. I
Yeah.
don't know if they fixed it since, but for the year I played it, it was like if I was against the Wraith, I
Broken.
was like, cool, we lose.
I had a friend who was
Great.
who was like
We're
working on
10
the
seconds in
marketing
and we
team for that
lose.
Wow, that OP.
Yeah, it
it was bad. It was really bad.
It felt that way. I don't think I ever won against the Wraith. in the year and a half I played it.
I was
The other
into it
ones
for a
were
while.
more evenly balanced. Like there's a big bruiser one and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But the Wraith could turn invisible, could move like 10 times your speed, and would just go to the other side
And
of the
you're
map.
So
still
it's
like-
the Indominus Rex.
You have like jetpacks and you can run, but like there's a limit to that. So the Wraith would just like
It would outrun
like,
you. You'd essentially be going
"Bye."
like in circles. And if you weren't your whole team together, you couldn't split up because if it was just two of you, you couldn't take it out. And so like you would run to the other side of the map and then it would just be like and go to the other side of the map and eat a bunch of stuff and get powerful until it could finally kill you.
yeah.
And it was just like
it was super frustrating. Like humanity would be fucked if that was real.
great.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, with one technical one, I have to just do one Silent Hill 4
You don't have to do anything.
or Silent Hill 3. I forget. It's called The Room.
Mhm.
And I think I talked about this, but it was like with Tom, and I was like, me, Tom, and I played this in college, and I was like, and the guy's like, I moved into my new apartment. I was like, I moved to my new apartment. My friend's like, here's this game. And then,
Oh.
and pretty much what happens is like he wakes up and all of a sudden his front door is locked, like chains everywhere, and he can't break it
Oh.
open. Then all of a sudden he finds this hole in his bathroom,
No.
and he travels to Silent Hill.
Why would you?
But the cool thing about it is like
Why
you
not?
play in the apartment,
The answer is no.
you're in first person view. But the
Answer's
thing
always
is,
no.
you would get haunted, and then you'd have to light these candles to like ward away the spirits. But then when you're in Silent Hill, then you can pick up like a bottle and like a whip and like guns. And I was like, okay, cool. But I mean, I kind of like I'm a fan of the macabre,
Mhm.
macabre.
Yeah. Macaroni
where
and
like
cheese.
Macrame.
in Bloodborne, you have to pick up these pieces of umbilical cords,
Ew, ew,
and that
ew.
unlocks the final ending.
nice.
And
Ew. No, incorrect.
in-
Opposite. That makes it so much worse.
That's placenta.
Oh,
But
God.
then in
I ate her umbilical cord with some
No,
Fava
no,
beans.
do not finish that.
low key. I couldn't get through it. I started laughing.
Thank goodness.
and in this one, you have to get umbilical cords too, and it actually used as a weapon. You
Nice.
actually use it as a whip.
Nice,
to beat
nice,
the
nice.
last boss.
Why?
I don't know. I'm tired.
We're having a friend for dinner.
Umbilical cords are funny. You used to eat
Oh
from
my
those.
God.
But yeah, these are true facts.
Just saying, you used
So-
to eat from your stomach, your belly button. Anyway, go ahead.
I
wish
feel
that could happen.
complete.
Pure
I
introduction of
I
food.
was actually curious as to like what was like a favorite moment in a favorite scary video game that is
Ooh.
still stuck with you.
Mario 64. You're
Is it-
underwater.
Unagi.
The
I'm
eel?
just kidding.
Really?
Just
Really?
kidding.
Unagi.
That's a great question, actually. Things that stuck with us. Okay, so Resident Evil 5. It's going to come back to this. You're fighting zombies, and you're like, this is a great Resident Evil game. This is so much fun. I'm having a lot of fun. And then you get to this scene where this zombie's attacking this guy, and you shoot the zombie, and you're like, I'm going to kill this zombie. No big deal. Like, I'm just going to kill him. And then he falls to the ground, and then he sits up, and this giant, like, tentacle with mouths comes out of his head and just starts waving around
we all know
like
where
crazy
tentacles.
and
We've seen enough
screaming
anime to know where
and
this is
starts
going.
running at you, and you have to. The cutscene immediately ends as he starts to run, and you're just forced into this fight
Yeah.
with this thing running at you.
And you're like, okay,
And
this is Resident Evil.
Dustin and I literally just at the same time went, "Fuck! What do we do?" And that was it. And that I was sold on that game. It's like 5 minutes in, I think that happens, and I was sold from that minute. And I was like, "This
It was
is
the
not."
Las Plagas, right?
Not the Resident Evil I was used
Yes.
to.
Well,
Here we go.
Yeah, I think.
Because
Yeah.
they're sentient still.
Yeah.
They're not zombies. They're like,
no, that was 4.
Well, isn't it the same strain?
I don't
don't know.
remember.
Because I feel like again, Resident Evil does the 3-3. Every
Yeah.
3, it's different.
This one takes place in a part of Africa.
Africa.
Yeah, but
And
it's
there-
kind of like there's like things that pop out of their heads, and it's like it could whip in and all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it had a different name. I'm gonna look it up while everyone else goes
Yeah.
around.
I'll go. It was the moment that I realized that
You
what
want
I
to do a
had gotten
podcast?
yeah. No. The moment I realized what kind of game Dying Light was, because at first I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then it was the first night level, and I was like, oh fuck, oh no. Like I think Bonnie was laughing at me because I was like, oh no, because you're still trying to figure out your parkour skills. You're
Right.
like, what can I do?
You
Like,
don't fully
yeah,
understand
when you're playing
how to
a
do
game,
everything.
yeah, you're figuring out the limits of what your character can do. And with Dying Light, there's so much you can do, and I just didn't know that yet. And I'm like jumping, and I'm like, I survived, but I was like, oh my god, can I climb this wall? I can. Oh my God. and you get in, and you're like, I'm alive.
Well, they did a really good job of like making you feel like what that would actually feel like.
Because I
if you
never
dropped
saw
in
the monster
world.
that first time. They were just like, because you get a walkie-talkie or something, and they're like, you need to run. You need to run now. Just run. Get out of. Get back here now. And you're like, why? Tell me why. So the next level that they're like telling you like, oh, you're gonna, hey, BTW, you're gonna have to go out at night. What?
Because now you're aware of what happens. That's when you have to go
What?
turn on the generators at night.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, what?
And you get there and there's 4 ultra zombies around. You're like, oh, cool. So they're already here. Let's
Yeah.
just do this, I guess.
Oh.
To answer your question, it is technically Las Plagas.
and they have a different.
They call it Magini.
because it's more localized in the
Yeah.
native tongue for them.
But they don't ever, not that I remember them referring to it throughout the entire game. That's why I was confused.
Well, I mean,
it's just the same.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 are the same strand.
Mm-hmm.
Strandling.
Tom?
I don't know. I mean, Dead by Daylight is all just scary throughout the entire thing. But I think actually my favorite scary moment I had to have was probably when I was playing Until Dawn. And it was just kind of like, when it was just the murder. Wendigos don't scare me. Monsters don't scare me.
Until Dawn is an amazing game.
Until Dawn is playing on the tropes of all teenagers go in the cabin and blah, blah, blah. Murder ensues. But then all of a sudden turns out to be like, oh shit, there's fucking actual mystical Wendigos fucking trying to kill you and shit. And it's all just a big prank. Gets all jigsawy and shit at the beginning. And that's the part that scared me because I hate humans. People suck. You can't really logic or reason with them. You can't figure out what's wrong. What's your defect, bro?
What's your major malfunction?
Yeah. And like, but then with monsters, like, oh, okay,
What's your
well,
damage?
humans are getting knocked down on the fucking food chain, so I'm okay with that. Like, if it's a whatever. If it's mystical, I'm cool with that. If it's just to me run, I'm okay. But then like, this guy is stalking me. It's creepy. I don't know what he wants. Like, what do you want? Go
They can
away.
understand
what do
my
you want?
motivations rather than just track your movements.
Yeah, I like beasts and monsters and ghosts and shit. Totally okay. Murders, I hate it.
Tom, don't play.
Are the worst.
Tom, don't play that.
They're the worst.
Oh my God.
Cool. Does
Ollie,
anyone else have a?
I don't know.
favorite scary video game
moments
moment?
that stuck with me for these games are not like any of the scary parts. They're like
That's
the
fair.
story parts that are like spoilery.
Oh, okay.
Nothing ever made you girl scream?
No.
Well, also
The
more
first
just
time you
like
see a
what
Big
really
Daddy is pretty
stuck out
terrifying.
to you in a video game, like a scary video game specifically. Like what really stuck with you that you still think of when you think of like scary video games.
I don't know if I have anything.
That's okay.
Like nothing that I can remember.
I already know mine.
I know
Okay.
the first time you see a Big Daddy's pretty
I mean,
terrifying.
that's pretty terrifying. The thing you mentioned about like the first time that the zombie splits open and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, there's more to this.
Oh,
Like, that was
okay.
more of my
There's layers
reaction.
here.
There's more to do. But yeah, it was more like story stuff from each individual one. Yeah.
That's fair.
Galen.
I would say the moment that you make the first loop in PT and you open the door again
Oh yeah.
and you're like,
Oh shit.
I'm in
Fucked.
hell. I really love reality shifting things, like Layers of Fear. It's a horror game about paintings, like
Oh,
painting
God.
of your wife, and like you go through all these doors, and like reality just changes in the room. Like it can be like things floating or like ink monsters coming after you. So I love those kind of reality shifting moments, and PT was the first one where I was like, oh no, this is way worse
What
than all
have
the
I done?
others.
I also have a secondary question actually for Corey and Josh because you
Sure.
guys got to play it at E3. Is Walking Dead the game scary?
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's again, it's like the kind of same fear from Dying Light and Left 4 Dead where it's anxiety driven, but there is more of a stealth aspect to it. That
And you also have to prepare, and it's co-op, so you have to communicate.
yeah.
And if
Does
you
it
don't
to be
have
co-op?
communication,
You
Like Dead by Daylight has
so
to be
it
co-op.
scales.
Okay.
It scales,
Yeah.
but they recommend the best way to play it is 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay.
If you can. But
Interesting.
it scales otherwise.
yeah. So if you don't have good communication, or if you're not prepping and stuff like that, just like a zombie apocalypse.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like
But like
Yeah.
if you two of you bring the same toolkit, no one brings first aid, you're fucked.
Because
So like,
I was on the PlayStation Store, #not sponsored, but I saw that you could pre-order it. I was like, oh shit.
oh, it was fun though.
Yeah.
We died the first 30 seconds into our
Well, because you have
playthrough.
shitty
Oh,
teammates,
no.
right?
I don't want to knock anyone, but yes.
Okay,
They were shitty.
you have done teammates.
Yeah.
Me and Corey were like, cool. Well, okay, yeah.
Everyone
And they
stay
were like,
calm.
Someone was like, Leroy
Yeah,
Jenkins.
someone Leroyed the shit out of it and ran into a thing of 20, and then started shooting a gun, which brought more. So it's like the sound and what you do and stuff like that all
Zombicide for real.
changes the game. And the cool thing about it is like Left 4 Dead, where like you don't know when a special zombie is going to come. There's certain moments where they do.
Oh, there's
But, like-
specials in Left 4 Dead or Walking
No,
Dead?
but like it changes every time. So
Oh.
you'll never play the same mission twice.
Yeah.
And the choices you make and the sound you make changes it every
Mm.
time as well. So the more sound you make, the more difficult the level becomes.
smart engine.
It doesn't like calm back down. Like
Interesting.
you've made that noise. It's
Deal
that
with
hard
it.
now.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very
So I
interesting.
You
dug
know,
that. It was fun.
A little side note, just because you were talking about E3 and demos, one of the first the first game I played on VR was Alien Isolation.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of interested to see where scary video games, I don't want to play them,
Right.
but where they will
But
go.
I'm still interested.
but I'm still interested. But where they're going to go with VR, because you can also do.
They're already there, man. It's great.
Well, I mean, I think Resident Evil 7 is
Resident
the
Evil
king
But there's
of the
gonna be-
scary games.
But there's going to be layers of like where they don't even necessarily have to like design the entire landscape. They'll be able to superimpose things into your house.
yeah.
AR.
Oh,
Yeah,
AR.
yeah, AR
Augmented
in
reality.
AR, yeah.
Augmented reality.
But I'm very interested to see
That'll
what
happen.
happens.
I wouldn't be able to handle that.
10 years out.
That'd be
No.
cool. I'd
Oh,
play that.
super
If I
no.
put on glasses and I see a little
I
girl
will-
over there, I'm like, nope.
10
Yeah.
years out. 10 years out, guys. It's
think-
going to
I
happen.
think-
Definitely not for me, but I'll
We're
watch
already
someone
there
else
with
do
our
it and laugh at them.
phones. Monster Hunters and shit like that are already on our phones.
Yes.
We're,
Yeah,
we're 5 to
Pokemon.
10 years at most to having that.
I
being the
mean,
norm.
to talk
Easily.
about that a little, answer your question, I feel like the main thing we're really seeing in the boom of scary video games is the expansion of the worlds. Like
Yeah.
with Last of Us, with BioShock, and all
Yeah.
these things like that. Like,
Yeah.
getting those,
Storytelling.
like there are cool games that are like fun for like multiplayer, fun for just making tropes of the scary movie games. But I think the real evolution is going to come with the VR and the AR when you could start expanding like where did these things come from
Mm.
and like how rich you're in the world.
Well,
the
it's
world,
narrative and experience.
Yes,
like it's
100%.
that's what like VR AR is.
Mhm.
It's all about the experience.
I always feel like I'm gonna throw up when I play VR.
I just want to give a shout out to the Grand Theft Auto of horror games, Dead Rising, because
Yeah.
I sunk so many hours into that
Dead
game.
Rising.
Played it.
The
It's
mall
unreal.
game, dude.
Yeah.
You're just fucking flailing like
You're Dan
bench
Aykroyd
chairs
in a
at
mall.
It looked
You're-
fun.
You're
a wartime photographer. I've covered wars.
It's super like think of like
It's a Capcom game,
think of it like
That actually helps.
and you could
Yeah.
wear Mega Man helmets and shit like that,
Oh, really?
and like you can make weapons out of like
I would say it's
Maybe
Dawn
like-
of the Dead meets Ash vs Evil Dead.
yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever played it.
It's
but
literally
it's fun.
you're stuck in a mall and you're just taking in survivors, but there's crazy people every once in a while.
I've never played it, but it looks.
and the
a lot of
only
fun.
It's
enemies
fun.
you really
It's
come
fun.
across are like other people.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then
Bosses.
like you're a guy named Frank and you have a camera and you take pictures of shit. But then you could just like run through hordes. You could beat people up. You could drive shit. Go outside in the main lot. But you're really waiting for backup
Yeah.
to come and get you, and you have
It's-
to do it for 4
It's
hours.
over the top and it's fun.
And it's like by hours.
You have
So it's like-
in the game it's 4 hours. You don't have to fight
4
things
days.
for 4 hours.
It's like
4
for 4
days.
days. And it's like by hour. And sometimes you get knocked out. You wake up 2 hours later or some shit like that.
Oh.
But there's like a cool story. It spawned like 3 other games.
You can literally take
Wow.
anything as a weapon. Like if you're in the food court, you can take plates and throw them as frisbees.
You could take like
at-
the trash can.
Yeah.
You take orange juice out of like the market and drink
Wow.
it. Like, it heals you.
yeah. It's
You could
fun.
take like a bench and just hit people.
yeah. It's
a
super
super
fun.
fun
It's the
game.
Grand Theft Auto of horror games.
Yeah. You
Wow.
can dress up like in only underwear because you're in a mall, so you could dress up in any clothes that you
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so fun.
It's fun. It's what Corey said. It's the Grand Theft Auto of zombie games.
But I feel complete.
I feel complete.
Yeah.
I completed.
Yeah.
What about everybody at home? Sans what Tom said.
Sans what Tom said.
Tell me how you completed.
You just get texts from people saying I also completed. That's
Good.
not good.
That's
What you choose to do while you watch or listen to Nerd On is your business.
hey, if your pants aren't wet by the end of this episode, your money back.
Or you could let us know what your favorite scary video games are in the
Mark
comments.
that, Tom. Mark it. Edit it out.
Yeah, let us know what games you guys liked.
Whether you
the-
wanna see
the
us
spooky
play.
things, and what you want to see us play, and what your favorite moments in scary games are, even if it's Mario.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, you'll be seeing some of
Love
the
you, Corey.
Twitch streams that I'll be doing, some scary games. So yeah, if you
yeah.
want to see more of that, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Thursday Scaries with Tom.
Yep.
Thursday spookies.
Yep.
If you are new to Nerd On, you can check out all the linky links and the infos on our website, nerdon.tv. Has all the info there. Thank you so much for listening.
Hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out. It's Halloween. It's the month of Halloween.
Halloweeny.
So
That's
yeah,
our outro.
thank you.
Yeah.
As always.
Nerd
on.
broadcast.